Cookie 2000. Ready to assist you, Huey.
Good morning, Conky. How's it going?
How's what going?
No, Conky, it's just an expression. How's it going? It means, how's it going?
It's going fine.
Oh.
Glad to hear it.
So what's today's secret word, Conky?
Today's secret word is...
density.
Now, you all remember what to do whenever
Anyone says a secret word, right?
Scream!
Right!
For the rest of the day,
Whenever anyone says a secret word, scream real loud! Ready? Let's try her out. Oh, Jerry!
Yes, Pee-wee?
How do you like today's secret word?
Oh, I like...
density.
Good screaming, everybody. You're all really good at that.
Ahoy, tent pirates, plant parents, conscious consumers, and the morbidly curious. Welcome to Cultivation Conversation, a podcast for growers by growers. Come chat with our hosts, Captain Autoflower, the Real Green Monster, and myself, Girl Go Grow. Grab a bouquet of your favorite flowers, apparatus of choice, and don't forget the fire while I tell you about the special companies that help keep this ship afloat. We are busy people, and we demand the best for our plants, so all three of us automate our grows with Autopots. Available in over 63 countries, gravity-powered Autopot systems rely on no pumps, no timers, and no power to operate. This plant-driven automated watering is so precise, it will reduce consumption of feed while increasing yield. An effective and efficient way to delegate a little responsibility. Let your plants feed themselves. Use code CC10 at autopot-usa.com. If quality is the name of your game, look no further than AC Infinity. AC Infinity's grow tents, lights, accessories, and ventilation systems offer reliability and affordability along with total environmental control. Use code Cultivation on acinfinity.com to save even more. Frass Valley produces the highest quality superworm frass. Naturally strengthen your plants and enhance their resistance to pests and disease. Use code CC10 at frassvalley.com. We are big fans of Mass Hydroponics. Whether you're a local in Massachusetts or accessing their full online catalog, they are your one-stop shop for all of your growing needs. Use code CC10 at mass-hydro.com.
What is going on, everybody out there in podcast land?
What's up?
Hello, my darlings.
What up, what up, what up? It's been a long 2 weeks.
It has been.
We are back. Oh,
Back.
motherfuckers.
What's up?
Oh, not much. I got my my Alabrije package in the mail. Super happy.
Have you worn it out yet?
I
Have
have.
you gotten any comments?
I have. No, not on the shirt. Like
I'm so surprised.
I wore it to Lowe's first day, right? And I'm like, I was a little mindful of like seeing a lot of like veteran, license plates in the parking lot and stuff, like Vietnam vets, Korea vets. I'm like, I think it's like it's obvious, like what we're talking about here. Like, it's not a stolen valor thing at all. I'm not talking about, not a veteran, but I did fight in the drug war. I was
It's a
an
sick shirt.
active combatant. Took heavy artillery in the drug war.
Yeah, it's because that shirt, like that logo I've seen before, like on shirts and stuff like that. and I have heard of people like veterans being slightly offended by it, but like truthfully, like my father's a veteran, and I don't think he would have a problem with it. The only people that I think would have a problem with it are like people that just, male Karens or fucking things like that.
Like honestly, wouldn't
It's not
surprise
like
me if one day.
It's not like you're talking shit about veterans. You know what I mean? It's
No, not at all. Nor am I claiming I was an actual veteran of any sort. But yeah, I mean, no, I didn't get any comments, but like saw a couple people like take a long look at the shirt as I walked past. So yeah, no, it's an awesome shirt, and that Alabrije hooked it up. So got a bunch of freebies, man. I can't wait to start popping some more of these beans. Really.
Mm-hmm.
Just
I have one of his going. Well, I did have one of his going. I will again have one of his going. As of like tonight
with the purple,
the purple Pantaranya.
Pantaranya.
Freaking wait. Yeah, claims it's the purple to end, like for people who don't like purples.
Yeah, that's right. He definitely wants me to try a sample when you're done.
That's what I've been tasked with.
Yes,
he actually gave me the assignment.
Indeed. Not sure which one of his I'm going to do though next. I mean, I could do the what's the Malawi zebra frog, right? I forget what it is. Sebrana.
Yeah.
Could do that one. But I think he's got like an October, November drop coming. I want to like do a little sneak preview of what's coming.
October is purple Pantaranya.
There's something else too, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know what's with that. I think he said he was only dropping one in October, but I could be wrong.
We'll have to talk to him. But regardless, it's I just need another tent, just one more tent.
Obviously.
Get some more beans started. But no, I got 2 autos going right now. Well, shit. Before we go there, let's do the obligatory "What are you smoking on?" segment here.
What are you smoking on, Cap?
What's in the box? Oh, I'm gonna go first. All right, I got some Blues Rosso. Speaking of Alabrije, a lot of people hit me up after I posted a couple stories about like what the packaging looked like and stuff. Guys, this stuff is top of the list, like top tier autoflowers. Literally everything I've grown of his has been phenomenal. I think other people in our community would tell you the same thing, whether it's Tangy Tibuguana, Blues Rosso, the Sour Perezoso, any of them. Like they're up there with the Mephistos and the Night Owls, as good, if not better.
Really unique plants.
For sure. Honestly, like fun. Quality of the smoke is, for me, it's of the utmost importance. And that's where, like, end of the day, like I put them right there, even with the best of the best. We're talking Mango Smile. We're talking Strawberry Milk and Cookies, maybe the best 2 offerings from like Mephisto and Night Owl, respectively. I would put his stuff right up there, smoke wise, with this stuff. Like I'm talking specifically about the Blues Rosso here. I absolutely love this one.
I think you're a brave man for doing it on show night, to tell you the truth.
Oh, it gets me scrambled. Like, it gets me absolutely.
It turns me into an idiot.
Yeah.
Fucking moron. Just like super fun when you're in it, but man, idiot.
I'm walking a fine line here. I'm walking a fine line. But effects is great. Now, the thing I'll honestly put Alabrije a notch above, right? Some of the more recent Mephistos and Night Owls that I have grown and have seen in the vigor department, plant structure wise. Have you had any experience yourselves? Or
Tangy Tibuguana, like you can notice one of those from a mile away. Mine looked exactly like every other Tangy Tibuguana out there. That's like beautiful stability. Gotta love it.
For sure. Just the symmetry of the plant itself too. side branching, all that stuff. I mean,
Yeah, and the way she
size of
shaped
the plant. Yeah.
just all
So,
of it. Her height.
Have
She's very
no
specific.
hesitation, guys. Like all the smaller scale autoflower breeders we have recommended on our show, from Alebrije to Outcast to Big Green Guy to the Goonie Genetics. I mean, all these guys, you have to get in on them, try them out. It's totally worth it.
You just named my entire next grow.
Right? Did you? Did I? That's great.
Yep. Sacred Watch from Outcast. Big Green Guys, Strawberry Wedding.
I'm not fucking around.
Purple Pantarania from Alebrije and Goondocks from Goonie.
Right? You gotta start growing these guys before they blow up. That's how the hipsters do it. Like, man, I was growing Outcast.
That was your first, man.
Before everyone. But no, it's worth it. What you got, Monster? That looked like a nice hit.
Damn, sure was.
Well,
smoking on some prayer glue.
Some what?
Prayer glue.
What is that?
It is. He took Bodhi's prayer tower and bred it with the GG4 cut.
Oh,
and it's delightful. I like it.
So like
it's got really good flavor. Like I'm getting that. It does. What I like about it is it gets you really fucking stoned, but you're not couch locked. You still have, because the prayer tower, I believe, is a heavy sativa dominant.
Yeah.
So when you combine it with the GG4, I get like all glue and gas with like a sour note at the end of it. I just love it. Even fucking Hank liked it. He's picky as fuck.
That's cool, man. Well, it sounds like a winner. Did you grow it or you picked it up somewhere?
No, I grew this.
Nice.
Yep.
How's the density on those buds?
Pretty good. And it's funny you mentioned that, because I had 2 rounds of it. One, this was the cut I decided to do my CO2 experiment with, and the first round without CO2 was pretty good. But the second round was night and day. Density different with the CO2. Yeah, it was a big difference. Right. Same cut and everything. So
holy shit.
I think I mentioned it before. I always battled this dilemma whether or not CO2 was worth the squeeze. If you can execute it right, it definitely is, worth it.
Oh, for sure.
There has to be, all of the variables have to be correct for it to work.
Yeah.
It's more than one cog. You can't just turn on the CO2 and expect it to do anything. There's more parts to it than that.
There is. And the biggest thing that I messed up on this run, I could have done better. They were really hungry. Like they wanted more food, like more than I normally would want to feed a plant and be comfortable with. But they just kept sucking down the fucking newts, and I would up it, and I never got leaf burn once, and they were still hungry. I could have pushed them harder. So I learned that when you push the ppm with the CO2, and I already knew this, but I thought that I compensated more, but I didn't, not enough. Once you see a deficiency, you've already fucked up. You're not, the run isn't maximized. It's not even close.
Yeah. True.
But overall, it came out really good. I was happy.
Good to hear. About you, G3? What you got tonight?
This is the double smile. You know me. I love my mangoes. And this is the cross with double grape from the recently, it's actually closing this coming Sunday. The Girls on the Grow Along. So yeah, she's great. I like her. She's not as speeding train as Mango Smile is. That double grape definitely calms her down a lot, but she keeps me sharp. So she's great for show nights. Love her.
Good to hear.
Yeah, double grape was legit. And so was Mango Smile. To see the two of them combined, I think it's similar to the approach that the idea that Mass Medical with the prayer glue. You have that heavy sativa and you mix it with that fucking heavy indica and you throw the two together and you end up with a mosh posh of fucking kick your ass weed.
Oh, absolutely. Anything crossed with the double grape is just going to give it a nice little extra layer of frost.
Mm-hmm.
But I have found too that like the terps tend to stay towards like whatever it's crossed into. It's just like an extra frost layer, and that's pretty much all it lends. Like it's crazy.
She does have a little kick of grape to her, but she
Okay.
definitely retains a lot of that mango too. But she
I never
lost
really got grape.
any of the like funkiness from that mango smile has. You know what I mean?
Good.
She's
Still
just
has-
straight fruit. That's it. There is no like funk to her at all.
I never
kind
really
of
got
expected
grape
that going in.
with double. I never really got grape vibes with double grape. I always thought that it was kind of a bad strain name.
Really?
I got more like Merlot, like red wine, like type of vibes from the ones I grew.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, I agree with that. Actually, and you know, I see someone mentioned it in the chat. You want a really good, truer to the name grape type auto, I would recommend the blueberry grape from Green Guy.
Yeah.
That's a good one, and that one hits hard too. It slaps.
Indeed. Yeah, didn't he give you like a bag of that, and it did you pretty good? I believe.
Yeah.
So, cool. Yeah, that's. I mean, there's a lot of grape ones out there. I mean, triple grape. Shit, I remember one I did from Night Owl. It was like triple grape was awesome. Oh, amazing.
Yeah, that's been a while ago.
For sure. Well, cool. So I got something today that I wanted to show you guys. That I thought
again, right?
Yeah, I got a circumcision at 38 years old. No, so I don't know if you can see this.
Pink grapefruit sparkling water. Oh, 5 milligrams.
Did you get that from?
And THC.
Did you get that from Rare Orange?
This is a beverage. Say it again, Monster.
Did you get that from Orange?
Orange. I don't know what
Rare
that means.
Orange.
Rare Orange.
Actually, no, but I got it from the same place. Yeah, so yeah, Rare Orange. What up, man? This is a beverage which contains 5 milligrams of THC and 5 milligrams THC, 5 milligrams CBD per can. This was, for sale. Okay. Will be very soon. Not yet. At an establishment in Pennsylvania that sells alcohol, interestingly enough. Well, so this just like got me thinking, a lot, and, having experience in the beer industry and all this kind of stuff. Like, I was looking up some Anheuser-Busch news, right? They just recently had to unload a bunch of their craft beer portfolio offerings due to some bad times at the company, right? I don't know if anyone knows anything about that, but the craft beer offerings were sold to a Canadian cannabis company. Of all things,
what I mean? Like, I don't want to interrupt you, but they unloaded all all of these to one.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah.
To one buyer, though.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
To they offloaded maybe I don't know. Let's say it's 6 different brands in their portfolio that they just had to cut a little dead, not dead weight, but just shave a little fat, right? And they sold them to this Canadian cannabis company. And it's just why would they do that, right? The ultimate plan, okay, and I don't want to reveal too much, but I let's just say I have inside knowledge of such things in the beer world where Anheuser-Busch is 100% expecting federal legalization to happen very soon, where they can use their distribution network that they've amassed across the country, warehouses, truck drivers, suppliers, all this different stuff. I mean, like how they deliver beer is how they're going to deliver your favorite cannabis beverage, right?
I don't doubt it.
Of
It's
course.
all the money.
Gonna happen soon. And yeah, follow the money for sure. It's just,
You said that that's being sold in Pennsylvania?
not yet. Okay. It exists in some like legal gray area right now. I'm gonna actually give it a whirl here, see what it tastes like.
And you can get it.
Yeah, it tastes pink grapefruity. Not great, like a LaCroix.
Is it a seltzer?
It
I know.
is.
How do you?
Yeah.
LaCroix.
It's a seltzer. Yeah, hemp infused sparkling water. So like, right?
How can they sell that in Pennsylvania? Do you have to have a medical card to buy it?
That's what I'm saying, G3. Like they didn't have it for sale yet, but it was like at the place in hopes that like this is happening soon, or like they might actually be able to sell this right now with the way like the laws are. I'm not sure. Like, is this less than 0.03% THC? You know what I mean? Like, does this exist under the Farm Bill? Like, I'm not really sure how it works.
There are already people taking advantage of that, like with the 0.03. Like they'll make edibles, but like they're just large. Like they'll just make the edibles bigger so that by weight it has less than 0.03 THC. And there are people running with that right now. And like anything else, I don't know if anybody really knows how laws work, but they're not easily changed. Like when they set laws in place for whatever the market, whether it be legal or whether it be recreational or medicinal, to like change certain parts of the law or make amendments to it, it's not easy. So it takes a while for them to catch up and figure this shit out. It's like what's going on in New York right now. Like there are people popping up these pot shops where you buy a t-shirt or a sticker and they give you fucking free herb, right? And there's a lot of people getting busted, right? Because they're not like playing by their own rules. But the people that are being strict about it, like not mentioning that you're buying cannabis, they're getting away with it. And as long as they're paying their taxes, they're going to continue to get away with it until New York changes the law.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's interesting, man. Like there's a lot of gray area right now. People that aren't really sure, like what, I mean, this is bizarre. Yeah, I agree, G3. Like seeing this was strange. That's why I picked it up.
That goes against every logical thing. Like that
What are
goes
the prices?
blatantly against Pennsylvania law.
Honestly,
I don't understand
it. I
it.
don't know, because like it wasn't for sale. Like I was at a place, you know, doing a little business, and he mentioned that they had just bought this from like the beer distributor. You know what I mean? And I was just like, huh, like what the fuck, you know? And that led me to a little
somebody
like
who's
detective
not
work.
like, if they bought it from there, there's a very specific like chain of custody and medicinal records. Like it is serious business tracking
really,
this stuff. I'm just
not
so
sure.
surprised.
So like, but this is a little scary. Not gonna lie, like because. Think of the scale, right? We talked scale, right? Like how hard it is to do stuff at a massive scale. Think of the scale that you would need to like provide. Imagine if they start like spiking Bush Light pounders with THC and CBD, like or like White Claws. Imagine just like the White Claw, you know, hemp, little infusion in there as well, like. The scale of product that would need to be acquired is terrifying because it's all going to be mids
or worse.
Mountains of mids or worse. Exactly. Like maybe moldy, maybe like just, yeah. Can you even imagine? And with something like this, there is no, like, you're not going to see that. You you don't have to worry about that. You could take a moldy product and extract the THC. This isn't a full spectrum product. You know what I mean? Like this isn't medicinal in my mind in any way. I mean, yeah, it does have some CBD in it. Okay, cool. It's got 2 cannabinoids of the what? 200 that we know of.
Yeah. I don't think I like the other thing too, like 5 milligrams. I mean, it's really not going to do a whole lot for you for the average like pot smoker.
I mean, maybe if you're like 5 beers deep at a bar and you're just like, hey, barkeep, go they get a CBD THC seltzer there.
Yeah.
Maybe then you start to get the spins and
I mean, look, alcohol and cannabis are a pretty potent combination by themselves. When you mix them together, it's not to be underrated. But I don't know.
Truth.
I don't know.
It's like buzzwords at this point. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. You're going to take, like you said, 2 well-known combinations of letters that happen to be associated with cannabis, and you're going to stick it on an alcoholic drink.
Pretty much.
Or you're going to stick it on a drink and sell it in the same vicinity as alcoholic beverages. Like, they're just buzzwords at that point. Blasphemous.
I agree. Just marketing mumbo jumbo. But interesting. Just like that's a trend, right? I noticed these things. I wanted to make you all aware of them. But man, what does that mean? Like as far as timing? I mean, they are expecting this to happen.
I mean, those things have a shelf life, right? What's the expiration? Is there an expiration date on that thing?
Interesting.
Well, they have to by law. They're going to put some sort of date.
Well, if they're already made, they're expecting those ones to sell at some point. So expiration date is going to...
It's like a year from now. Yeah. August
they really
17th,
expect federal legalization in the next year? That's ballsy.
Yeah.
Maybe. Or
dare to dream.
Real quick, Grow Mitten has a good point here. Guys, we don't control the ads. That's Twitch, who's owned by Amazon. And 99% of you guys have Amazon Prime accounts. You actually can get a free subscription to the show monthly just by connecting your Amazon account to Twitch.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll get rid of the ads. So
cool.
Just thought I'd let you know.
Yeah, my Prime payment came out today. Speaking of which. Does that happen to everyone same day or is it just
they
like
got me, dude, when they got Thursday Night Football, motherfuckers. I was like, you got me now, and I just left it. Like, whatever, it is what it is. And look, it is nice to get shit in a couple of days, but I don't know if you noticed, if you don't have Prime and you order shit, you still usually get it within a couple of days. It's pretty quick. Like,
yeah, you do. I know. That's what I was just saying to the wife.
Yeah, and I don't even know if they're Prime. Like you do get I think. For all those, and I'm not trying to like go deep into this, but for subscription services, Prime is pretty. You do get a lot for your money. Like you get the Prime Video, you get the Prime Music, Amazon, Twitch.
Amazon shill.
Yeah,
I'm just playing.
No, I mean
I'm just playing. It is. I use it too, man.
Dude, how do you think they got so many motherfuckers?
I know.
They just got you.
Like too.
99% of everything I buy comes from fucking Amazon. Unfortunately, it's fucking crazy.
I know. Been getting groceries and shit from them lately, dude. It's
I never tried that.
It's like, oh man, I can just like get everything. Just like, I mean, within reason. Like, you're not gonna order like produce from Amazon yet. You're not gonna order your THC CBD beverages from Amazon.
The cocksuckers own Whole Foods too, so
yeah, they own so much, dude. They own like the whole internet. You know about like Amazon AWS
web services. Yeah, that's where they make 99% of their money. They don't make a lot on the storefront. People don't realize.
I know. Yeah, AWS, man. That's a whole different rabbit hole. So we mentioned it a little bit earlier, right? I wanted to talk density tonight. We will say it is the word of the day, if you will, in memoriam of Pee Wee Herman. Rest in peace, Paul Rubens. Great show, by the way, man. If you never saw Pee-wee's Playhouse, go give it a watch. It still holds up. Fucking what's his name? Fishburne played Cowboy Curtis. You know who I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Morpheus, man.
I know. On Pee-wee, right?
No shit.
I know, for sure. I know. It's a really I used to watch that show every Saturday, man, with my sister growing up. Like, man, memories. Really, really funny. I loved Pee-wee, you know. Hey, he got in some trouble. No, I don't care. He was entertaining as fuck, right? And is what it is. I just honestly was a little broken up about that. I don't usually care about celebrities croaking, but this one got to me, man. So yeah, go watch a little episode in to honor Mr. Paul Rubens. So word of the day is density, guys. We are talking.
Doesn't that mean we have to scream every time you say it? I'm not doing that.
It does, by the way. It's part of the show. Yeah, you go, yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone out there can imagine that that's what happens after each time we say the word density. Yeah. No.
You need a button for that.
I do. But coming soon. So like in my recent harvest experience, okay, like there was a little bit of a range of density in the final product. Okay. Coming out of the same tent, you know, same everything minus genetics. So like obviously to me that's the first thing I want to mention. Like if when people are like, Captain, Monster, G3, how do we grow denser buds? First thing, what are your genetics?
Genetics.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are your genetics? I mean, a lot of times, certain strains, certain breeders are known for like more dense buds than others. But I think like just generalizing, you can say that like a more narrow leaf leaning variety is going to err on like the fluffier bud side than a more wide leaf variety, right?
I'm sorry, you I don't know. Was that just me, G3, or did he fade out for you too?
No, I heard him.
Okay, so does a narrow leaf variety tend to be a little more airy than a wide leaf?
I mean, logically, that makes sense. I'm like going through all of my plants in my head to see if that confirms that.
Yes and no. I mean, like,
so?
I just pulled down some anaphylaxis that was really dense, and it's more sativa leaning. I don't know if that's necessarily a true statement. I mean, it makes sense.
It can be like, like sometimes I see in the more like we're talking sativas, guys. You know, we call them the narrow leaf varieties.
The stimulating strain.
Yeah. So like the sativas are, in my experience, more like looser bud structures, more foxtailing, just genetic foxtailing, that kind of stuff. Not those like just dense, solid as a rock type nugs that, I mean, like really just indicas tend to be more known for. So right away, just what's the breakdown of your indica versus sativa in like what genetics you're growing? That would be my first question.
That's your first question. I mean, your first question is what your genetics are.
Yeah.
And then
who's the breeder, you know?
And then how's it lean?
How's it lean? Yeah, because I mean, I think if you can expect an airier bud structure with a more true, like further leaning sativas tend to be more airy. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No, because like you do get, but I mean, they can be dense as well. It just kind of, I don't know. I guess it's certain strains have certain traits, you know.
Yeah. So
and depending on like what you do to it, like can also bring out different traits in plants as well. You know, based on what I really mean by that is like your environment.
That's well. So there you go. That was the next like item on my list. Right, we're talking like denser buds. First thing we're talking is genetics. Second, environment.
Yeah.
What about environment can affect density?
Well,
Humidity.
the VPD, but in particular the temperature. If you're running really, really hot temps, that's gonna hurt your density. Colder temps definitely bring out a more denser product than any strain you're growing. So
Is
it like
that's more like it in the end of flower or just throughout
Yeah.
the whole grow?
Well, I mean, you would run your typical normal temps, but what I mean by like cooler is definitely like the last couple weeks you want to chill out a little bit. No pun intended there. Actually, pun intended. But you don't want to have like 100-degree room or 95-degree room through the majority of your cycle. You'll end up with an area product that way. 100%. If your shit's too, it doesn't matter what the strain is. It would have been denser if you were running temps a little cooler.
Yep, I agree.
I do agree too. 100%. The
I mean, everything, like really, like everything in your environment can affect it. If you're inconsistent, if your temperatures are swinging all over the place, they're going to grow kind of crazy. Like they're going to grow in one way in response to one temperature and one way in response to another temperature. So it's going to be all over the place. If your humidity is all over the place, they're going to react differently. No matter what, you fuck things up, you're going to get area buds.
temperature and humidity combined, right? So
Mhm.
VPD.
All your VPD.
I think yeah, VPD is something you could keep an eye on for, denser buds. Like, VPD, by keeping it in the right range throughout the plant's growth cycle, different targets for each phase. Okay. But like by hitting it right in the middle for each phase, you are allowing your plant to transpire at its most optimum level, thus enabling more uptake of nutrients and just the plant doing more plant stuff to make denser buds for you laymen out there, including myself. So yeah, like that's just,
If your humidity's whack, like off by low or high, the plant's not going to transpire enough, and you're definitely shooting yourself in the foot there. So I get a lot of eye rolls when I talk about VPD to certain people, but it just, people kind of like poo-poo it almost in a lot of ways, right? Oh God, I'm like, no, but if you look and you follow the chart and you can, the only problem with the VPD chart is I feel like it goes to like, when I look at a chart, I shouldn't see what the VPD is for 68 degrees, because you can still hit like your critical whatever number you're looking for at different temperatures. You know what I'm saying? So like when people say, "Oh, this is what I run my VPD," I couldn't even tell you what that number is because I don't look at it that way, right? Because I feel like that's a dumb way to look at it. I know that like I want to be running at least 83, 84 degrees in veg, and I run around 70% humidity. So I know that it's pretty damn close, and that's what I find works best for me, for everything without having to dial in certain strains, right? So but what I mean by that, like, is if you look at that chart, right, and you, like I said, look at like 68 degrees or whatever, you can get humidity in correspondence to that to give you whatever VPD number you're looking for, but you'd be growing the wrong way. You know what I mean? So don't poo-poo VPD. Look at the chart and just list, okay, if I'm running, let's say my tent's 82 degrees, or I can't get it any colder, it's like running a little hot, I'm at 88 degrees, we'll try to have the humidity to correspond to that, and you'll end up with better results.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It's a tool. It's not your only tool.
Exactly.
But it definitely has an effect. I find people that tend to like have lower than optimal humidity towards like I mean, you do want to like not have super high humidity at the end of flower, but if it gets too low, talk, like 20%, 15%, it can be in some places in the country. Like people have to work to get that shit up. That works against you too. So yeah,
100%.
just keep your VPD in range, help you grow denser buds.
I mean, I know that most of us don't ever run into this problem, but if your lights are too low, most of us blast the shit out of our plants with light. But if your lights are too low, you will get airy buds. If it's too far away. That's
the next item on my list, G3.
There you go.
So why don't you just take it off? Take off with the lighting.
I will.
Jeez, what do you have to say about it?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, most of us blast the shit out of our plants. So it's not something that we generally have to worry about. I think it was a bigger problem when blurples were a thing. But yeah, you got to make sure your plants have enough light. Otherwise, they're going to reach for them. And if they reach, you're going to end up with airy buds.
How do we know our plants are getting enough light? Like what's our metric?
Oh, without some sort of meter or anything, I usually try to look at internodal spacing, and you can kind of tell by the structure of the plant whether or not it's trying to stretch too much.
Mm-hmm.
True.
I mean, in the beginning, I really think the best time is in the beginning when they're young. But like, there are apps you can use, there are meters you can use. You can look at what a manufacturer's guide is. They have charts for at this percentage, it's about this much. At this percentage, it's this much. You have lots of things to go by. There's no reason your plants should be looking for light. I don't think that's a problem for anybody, though.
No,
it's not really a thing anymore.
With, these high-powered LEDs we got these days. Which is there any? I do sometimes hear rumblings amongst like the old school community, like these LEDs don't make the same type of dense, sticky buds that our HPS used to. Think there's any truth there?
Yes and no. I'd lean more towards no, because I use HPS. The biggest mistake people make is not upping their temps when they run LED, because you're not getting that heat from the lamp, and you're not getting the UV either that you get, right? So I think there is something to that. I mean, look, if electricity was fucking free, I might use HPS. I don't know, but it's not, and I don't even. All right, I'm going to say it like this. Even if the answer is HBS grows better bud, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Like, you have to have double the power that you would with LED pretty much. And then you haven't even factored in your cooling costs now because you have so much wattage running. Like, you guys don't understand. If this was the old days and you tried to put, you wanted to grow in a 4x4, you need to do it right, you need 1,000 watt HPS.
Yeah.
And that's gonna create a lot of fucking heat. It was a nightmare back in the day.
Cool the shit out of it then.
Yeah.
And oversized AC units and running all the time, that kind of shit.
Yeah. So the cost factor in paying for the usage of the HPS just doesn't seem worth it to me. Not to mention that, really, even after one cycle, I mean, let's just say two, the bulbs need to be replaced. And they're not cheap.
No, but I mean, it ultimately, listen, if there is some truth to buds are better with HPS, I think a lot of people would choose to just go the more expensive route, grow the best weed they can possibly grow. You know what I mean? It's interesting. I don't have any experience with the old school lighting, so can't really say. It is just fun to think about. There is a little too this, spectrum wise and stuff like that. You were talking about radiant heating. Yeah, definitely. If you're switching to LEDs from the HPS world, you will find that you want your tents to be warmer. Another thing I see mentioned in the chat too, thanks Hank, is that you're going to want to add a little extra Cal Mag in your LED tents. Plants tend to want more calcium and magnesium under LEDs. They get hungry for that shit.
Yep.
I don't want to go like off the trail on CalMag here, but something I always recommend. I don't recommend people be fucking around with too much CalMag. If you're having a deficiency in calcium or magnesium, up your base nutrient, whatever you're using, even if it's organic, use more of that as opposed to just throwing CalMag at the problem, because a lot of times you'll do more harm than good. You'll just create a lockout of something else. And your base newts should have enough. I haven't touched CalMag in a long time. I mean, technically part of my base nutrients is like a CalMag product, but you're mixing it in the right ratios so that that's what it's about. It's about the balance. The balance of everything. And if you start throwing CalMag at your plants, you're gonna fuck something else up, because it's just the way it is. Calcium, dude, I got like a fucking fly that's like a pterodactyl. So I always recommend that. If you're having CalMag issues, don't just use CalMag. Up your base newts, and I think you'll see better results.
It's good advice. Good advice. I mean, I'm assuming you guys don't hear that?
No.
In that fucking way. I thought I had my soundboard worked out, but I guess not. I don't know why. Beside the point. I was playing my probably good advice if you have shit for brains. It's coming. It's coming. I swear to God.
Not even breathing heavy.
On the CalMag discussion, right? Well, keep that in the back pocket. I do want to talk a little more CalMag before we get off like lighting. Okay, like there's, we mentioned spectrum. Like, is there something to the blues and the reds? Have I heard that like denser buds can come from less blues, more reds in flowering? The 730 nanometer spectrum, that kind of stuff. I think I would say there is some truth to that. You want to
know, because you have, like, back in the day, a lot of people would finish with like the blue lighting, your metal halides. Like we call them, like, there was like even like I think there was even bulbs you could buy, like finishing bulbs, and they'd be like 10,000 Kelvin, like super blue.
Really?
Like, yeah.
Then maybe it's the opposite. Okay, I may have got my blues and my reds mixed up.
Well, no, because like when you think about it, blue, you didn't get it mixed up. Like
blues are known for keeping like tighter node spacing. At least,
yeah, like HLG has their what is it, B spec blue. It's a blue light specifically designed for veg, right?
So just thinking about it, like, all right, if a blue light creates a tighter node spacing in like a vegetating plant, why would it then not create denser, fuller buds in a flowering plant? Does that make sense?
It doesn't. It doesn't. But like, I own a bunch of the R specs, which lean heavily towards the red, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And I have noticed, like, as opposed to different lighting, that I do get more of a stretch in flower with those lights.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
Me too. I agree. I have the R specs too, and I've noticed the same thing. So yeah, I mean, lighting's a whole thing, but like G3 said at the very beginning, most people these days have like a light that's optimized for the size of their tent or the room that they're in, and that's just it's gonna give you an optimal PPFD, right? That's the acronym we use for lighting when we're talking about like how bright it is that the plant can actually use. And if the PPFD is in the proper range across that whole spectrum, you're going to be money, right? But along with that kind of comes like you got to put the plant in the right place in the tent to like utilize all that light, right? So there's some, plant training, size of the plants. Is there anything to like, I mean, obviously training has a lot to do with density, end of the day, right?
Mhm.
I think like you're going to get more density across the whole plant. You may not get like, it may not be denser than like, let's say the tops of a plant you didn't train, but more of the bud that you harvest will be that nice, full, dense product that you're looking for if you do proper training to it and you get that even canopy across the whole tent. So,
Or find a way to get light to your lower branches in however way that works best for you.
or under canopy lighting for sure. Now I've heard a rumor too, like, maybe it's bro science that like growing larger plants will tend to make like airier buds. That by like keeping the plants a more small to medium in stature, they can produce like the best quality as opposed to like more quantity. Is that true?
No,
I don't think it is.
I don't find that true.
I wouldn't believe that, right? Because I've grown some huge, well, relatively speaking, for indoor plants, pretty damn big. Not like the ones you grow out in like NorCal, out in the sun, by any means, but like shit, those ones in NorCal in the sun like grow really dense buds. If I'm not mistaken. Also,
No, I mean, look, the taller the plant is, the more larf you might have if you don't defoliate, right? So like, but like the tops and everything that's getting good light is, I don't see a problem.
yeah, I don't think you're gonna find that. Yeah, you might just get more larf because it's a bigger plant. Exactly. That doesn't mean like there's gonna be more of it in the ratio compared to your dense buds. I don't think so, at least. So let's see. Nutrition.
Definitely newts. If they hungry, they're not going to get big and fat.
Amen. Like you have to feed your plants properly for them to develop the way you want them to. And that's easier said than done.
Hunky ladies want food. Feed them bitches.
They do.
Yeah, and there's more to it though. Like if your pH is out of whack, the feed isn't going to be utilized either.
Right.
If you dry back too much and get like a lockout issue, which just still happens to me every now and then. I push the dry backs a little too much.
I can throw the balance off for sure.
Yeah, there's so many different factors, but yeah, if they're not utilizing nutrients right for one reason or another, sorry, that killed me. If they're not utilizing nutrients correctly for one reason or another, whether it be from your fertigation techniques or your environment, it's all based on how happy that plant is, right?
For sure.
It all ties back to each other, each thing, if you think about it,
It does. Now, if you're, running the salts and like a synthetic nutrient program, you can be way more precise with your nutrients and the way you're feeding that plant throughout its cycle. But like Monster said, I mean, you got to you got to be on top of your pH game, number one. And that's pretty much what I'm trying to say. Always check your pH. If the plant can't eat the food because it's not in the right range, then it's not doing it any fucking good. So, the other thing about nutrition is that even in the flowering cycle, there's different things you want to do at different times, right? Like, you often hear, cut the nitrogen. That's important for sure. Like if you give your plant too much nitrogen when it's flowering, right, in the NPK, that's your N, right? but I guess not, because shit. I mean, your P is your phosphorus, but K is potassium. Who would know that, right?
I always thought that was bizarre.
No, you just got to know your periodic table, I guess. But so you always hear, cut the nitrogen, but don't do it too early, because then your plant won't. I mean, really, like there's a certain point where you cut the nitrogen. For me, that's right when the plant stops stretching. As soon as it's like that's its vegetative growth coming to an end, and then like after that point, it's flower focused. At that point, we can cut nitrogen and we can give more P and more K. Like you will often see on your hydro store shelves, like bloom boosters, right? They say like grow denser buds. Exactly what we're all trying to do. That's why we're talking about it. A lot of these products are just additional P and K.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yep.
Like
and way too much of it.
Yeah. Like a 0.3350.
I've seen higher. Like I don't recommend anybody use bloom boosters. Just use more of your bloom nutrient. If you want, like, if you're trying to push your plants, just use more of your bloom nutrient. You don't need bloom boosters. They're a waste of money.
No, I would have to agree with that as well.
I mean, like the amount of you're just gonna end up fucking up other shit.
It's the balance, man.
Yeah.
The harmony.
Most bloom nutrients have tailored back nitrogen. If not, you're using something that's whack.
Yeah, they have. If you look at the NPK of your bloom part, it should be way lower in the end than your veg.
Mm-hmm. Now, towards the end, like the last 2 weeks or so, I will cut nitrogen by cutting my core, which also has the calcium and magnesium. Because I just feel like by that point that they've pretty much utilized all the calcium they're going to utilize for the last week and a half, 2 weeks or so. So I've gotten better results, by dialing back that a little bit the last couple of weeks. It's going to help the plant to fade a little bit more too. But yeah, don't fuck around with bloom boosters. They're really not. They're really not worth it.
Just more bloom.
Yeah.
But like the thing you want to be careful of too, like when you mentioned it, Monster. Like I think it is good advice. CalMag outside of your feeding program, maybe not the best thing to always be adding, because it'll throw shit out of balance. Same with like a bloom booster. Just it's all about maintaining the balance. And in along those lines, like let's say use a CalMag. So you go against Monster's advice and you use a CalMag. Some CalMags have nitrogen in them. Some don't. That you like be aware of that shit. Be aware, like they might have one or two in that end number. Like so, it's just be careful. If you truly want to cut nitrogen, then don't give them those nitrogen CalMags during flower as well. So just know what you're giving your plant. I mean, the way I look at it from an organic approach is that the plant takes what it wants. You put it in the soil and the plant knows kind of by itself to stop taking up so much of the nitrogen. Yeah, like I mean, not all the time, but by and large, okay, like the plant knows like it doesn't need all that nitrogen late in flower. It's not going to eat it. If there's some mechanism there where like the biology has some interplay with like knowing not whether or not to give it to the plant there, like I don't know, microbes do kind of work magically, but like all I'm trying to say is I don't worry about that shit from organics. Like I literally just give the plant everything as like a buffet and it takes what it wants when it wants. they're like, I worry about everything else from like in my method of gardening. I want my VPD to be on point. I want the lighting to be ideal. Okay. And I don't really think about nutrition because I know it's all there. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like whether you have to do like additional top dressings and from if I'm top dressing anything or if I'm feeding anything, it is a balanced product, not like a 0.3350 for fuck's sake. But like, yeah, there are some things you can use that are more bloom specific for sure. You know, like do I have it right here? Here. I mean, I talk about it all the time. I love the Cold War Organics. This is the Bloom product. So this would be like in the Bloom product, right? Your part B. And it's a 0, what is it? 311 plus calcium, sulfur, magnesium, and iron. So that it's important. Like nutrition wise, guys, just make sure all the macros are there, make sure all the micros are there. Just make sure the plant has what it wants. Hungry girls require food. G3 said. So yeah, I think that's kind of all I have to say about that. But I don't know, is there any other things, any other points on our checklist when we're talking density, guys? Anyone out there in the chat too, if you haven't, you know, what are your tips? Because what I will say is I gave my sister a bag of weed recently, and I vacuum sealed it for a little car ride just so it didn't smell. After cutting the vacuum seal on the bag, it was like, you know, a Ziploc bag in the vacuum sealed bag. The product was, I mean, dude, if it was pretty dense before, but after the vacuum seal, it just tightened everything up. You know what I mean? And it was like, reminded me of the weed that like we used to get back in the day that was vacuum sealed and shipped from Cali. Just had
you basically put your buds in a corset. So yeah,
pretty much. You know, just saying, if you really want to tighten up your buds, get a vacuum sealer.
Air exchange is one you didn't cover. You got to make sure your plant air exchange. If your tent isn't moving air through it, then there isn't enough carbon dioxide for your plants to transpire. So
I agree with that.
You need to be able to move that air so they can breathe.
CO2.
Otherwise, they'll get floods.
CO2, Monster mentioned it, falls into our environment category for sure.
Yeah, but it's not just CO2, you know? It's like full air exchange. You have to make sure that whatever your inline fan or whatever is at takes into account how big your space is and how big your plants are. Now, seedlings are going to transpire way less than adult plants. So that having your inline fan set at the right level is important.
Yeah. And by level, she means temperature, not fucking level. Use the fan correctly.
No, you want it to be like perpendicular to your tent pole. Exactly. Parallel to the floor. Otherwise, you're fucked. No ice. So that's a good point there, Norma. UV light. You know, I do subscribe. Okay, I don't know how much scientific data I have to offer on this topic, but I do subscribe to the notion that like the more elements you can add to your spectrum, whether that's like far reds, whether that's far blues, whether that's infrareds, whether that's
sunrises
UVs.
In Brazil.
Yeah, truly. If you can program your light to emulate what it looks like on a mountainside in the Brazilian mountains, yeah, like that's probably going to help your plant in some regard, or do something, I would imagine. But like, so I always make sure that my lights have UV in them. whether that like and right, like people are out there probably like, there's only one fucking diode in your whole like I've heard it all. Okay, I've heard like whatever. I like UV in my lights, whether like it's just placebo or not. I just give me the UV. It's typically UVA, right? That we get in our lights, or is it UVB?
No, see, here's the thing. We want UVB. It hasn't, I don't believe it's been achieved yet with LEDs. The only way you can get proper, in my opinion,
right.
the only way you can get proper UV, in my opinion, is either with old school HPS or some sort of fluorescent fixture that's just UV. We haven't been able to replicate UV well enough in LED chips yet for me to tell you that I believe it's effective. Now, I have fixtures, a lot of them, that have it built in. You know what I mean? So you're getting it anyway. But I really don't believe. Sorry, I got a fucking bug bite in the back.
That's like not enough. It's not enough UV.
Yeah,
I
I don't think that they're doing enough to make a difference. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but if you want, like, there's trying to Migro, Shane from Migro actually sells UVB fluorescent lighting to supplement your grow with. If you really want to take advantage of UV, I think that's your best approach.
Okay. Maybe
does it make a difference? Have you seen results from?
I think it makes a difference, definitely, especially with trichome production. But I don't think that the LEDs that we're using are making a difference enough to be completely honest with you. Plus, the other thing, own a fixture long enough, and I promise you, the first chips to go out will be those.
Will be the UVs.
Yeah, they're not efficient enough where we've figured it out yet. So like we're at a standstill with LED technology as far as I'm concerned. Like, yeah, we can keep making the fixtures look different, but the same chip's still being used. It's been being used for like 5 or 6 years. If we need to move forward, I think that's what these companies should focus on, is UV and infrared as well. Things like that.
So here, I'll let me see if I can bring this up real quick. A lot of companies are offering this shit now. Even Mars Hydro. One sec, guys. Apologies. There we are. So like this is their UV and IR supplemental light product, which comes as like a bar. I guess you can add it to like an existing fixture or what?
Yeah. What are those, like 30 watts each, I'm guessing?
Let's see. 45?
45, I would guess.
30 for the UV, 15 for the IR.
Per bar? Because they're showing 2 bars there.
They are, yeah. I'm trying to get a sense of it myself here. Interesting. You can independently control them. They install to like one of the bar fixtures, so it looks like one lighting fixture. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I would just go. I would go buy a UVB.
Yeah, that's what. So what I'm trying to see is if this is UVA or UVB, because I'm pretty sure this is UVA. UVB is the stuff that would give you like a suntan, right? If I'm not mistaken. Whereas like UVC is what would give you skin cancer, right?
Yeah, UVC is commonly used in like air filters and stuff like that to like a lot of HVAC systems to kill like mold and stuff coming in. They'll have UVC lights so that the air coming in gets blown over that light. It's used up in other things too, but
makes you wonder what kind of lights they're using to clean up cannabis before they go into market.
Yeah, right. Before they put them in your beverage.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not telling you to like not go out and buy this fixture, but I kind of am. Like if you want UV lighting, I'd go out and get like a fluorescent UV fixture. And the only person I know that's making them, I'm sure there are other companies, but the only one I know of is Shane from My Grow, and they're pretty reasonably priced as well.
Yeah, he does. Let's see if I can bring it up here.
It's been a while since I've looked into them, but I set a bunch of them up for somebody, and they were pretty happy with them.
So, and that's a true UVB fixture.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you're right. Look at that.
Ooh, it's pretty.
And as far as I know, UVB can only be replicated by fluorescent lighting.
Interesting.
And HPS
black
as well.
light.
So yeah, and what's the price on that?
$89.
Yeah, and the other one was like $80.
Mm-hmm.
So go out and get a few of these, and I'm pretty sure. It's hard to see from here, but I don't know what the coverage
says. What Shane, and I tend to believe Shane. Like it, I do. He knows his lighting. He says this UV grow light increases production of secondary metabolites in the form of flavonoids and terpenes to improve taste and smell of your harvest by up to 40%.
I would love to know how he got that number.
I assume that's based
so
on some
subjective.
scientific paper that came out that was published regarding usage of UVB light, because he wouldn't say it if it wasn't. Shane,
cite your source.
I agree. Source needed. Doubtful.
What I want you to take note of, Captain, is the bottom line of that paragraph. I want you to read that to the audience.
Only used in the last few weeks of flowering for up to 2 hours per light cycle.
Okay. Or what?
Repeat that.
Only used in the last few weeks of flowering for up to 2 hours per light cycle.
Okay. So a lot of these newer LED fixtures have the UV and the IR built into them, right? However, a lot of them aren't giving you separate, like a lead coming out from the driver to control those via timer. So they're just on all the time. I set up some 600 watt lights from Geek Light. Actually, they make the Geek Beasts, whatever 730, whatever that actually Shane reviewed and at one point said was the best light on the market. I noticed when I was setting them up, there was two outputs coming from the driver, one that controlled the UV and the IR, and then one that controlled the typical white chip. Mm-hmm. So to execute the LED, the UV and the IR properly with LED, you shouldn't be running them full time. And that's where I think, like, these companies are just throwing them in there to slap it in and be like, yes, our board has UV and IR because that's the new catchphrase, and what all the kids are doing.
I think really it's because this does include the UVB, which is like the suntan UV.
Yeah, UVB is far more effective and more powerful.
This is like what you'd see in a tanning booth, right?
I'm not 100% sure on that. Probably.
It looks a lot like it.
It does. That's why, like, I think that's UVB is what will make you your skin tan. But like this also does emit UVA. But I think it's the UVB that is like used sparingly. You can like. When I have UVA in my light fixtures, like the couple chips that they put in the fucking Mars Hydro, FC 4800, like they're just on all the time. Mm-hmm. There's no way.
I don't think there's enough of them in there to make a big difference.
Yeah, like it's probably just marketing at that point, because it's like, does it even do anything? It's just UVA. It's on all the time. Like, I don't know. Yeah, this is cool, man. Honestly, this is really cool. I didn't know this was out there. So, you want to fuck around with UV? Go fuck around and
sponsor us or nothing. I for some reason, I mean, he could turn out to be a fucking sheep and a wolf in sheep's clothing, but he seems really legit, and I kind of trust him. So, yeah, he's reviewed lights that like. He'll even say like, "Oh, this is better than my fixture or whatever." Like, I don't know how they're achieving this.
His videos.
He's very honest.
pretty factual, straightforward. So I would imagine he knows what he's talking about here. So
I just love
pretty
to know
cool.
how he did it. Like, I would just love to know the process, how he got those numbers.
Yeah,
Right?
I like him. I got to be honest with you, though. I don't think I could ever have him on as a guest interview. He's just a little too monotone for me. Like, I zone out on him.
Yeah, that's
I can take Shane in small doses.
well, here he is. Nice dude. Go look at his YouTube channel. If maybe there's some info on the UV process, how we got those figures. I'll have to do a little research. But that's cool. So I think we hit a lot of really good points, guys, about like how to get denser, better, fuller buds, which is, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that's, you always show off. Okay. Like that's all part of like what makes it your keeper ultimately. Like you really do want like density to be at like a 7, 8, or 9. Anything less is it's just not satisfying to the modern smoker, modern sophisticated pothead, right? Maybe the more old school guys, like, you know, if they remember those like High Times centerfold type weeds from the 70s, they like that kind of like airier sativa jungle weed. It's got seeds and stems in it too. They're like, oh yeah, give me that. But no, that's for us, you know, for us kids, we all want density. You know, I don't know. I think we nailed a couple really cool points. And is there anything else by any chance that comes off the top of your head here towards the very end?
Well, I kind of like to briefly give some friendly advice here in the summertime for people with their grows. So you're all struggling with heat right now, right? Where you might be running an air conditioner or doing things like that. Just go around real quick and touch all the ends of the plugs to all of your grow equipment, every single one of them, at all points of the house. Like I know y'all got power strips running in. Touch them there, and then go to the wall where that power strip's coming from, and just give it a little feel. If it feels warm at all, and I don't give a fuck how hot that room is, unless it's 100 degrees, which it shouldn't be, even then, they should never feel warm to the touch. And if they do, I promise you, you will have a problem sooner rather than later. Some bad shit will happen. And it could be minor, like you may just like kill that circuit breaker because it's popping too much, a little too much heat. It's just not good. So make sure that none of those plugs are warm. And if they are, you're drawing too much power somewhere. And it may necessarily not be like this is the number one thing I run into all the time. Well, I have like 4 different plugs in this room and I have them all spread out. Great. It's still a good thing to do. You don't want to be running too much through one receptacle. But 99% of the time, if it's in one room, it's all tied back to the same circuit. So you're going to have a problem.
So we can
Monster says, go feel up your plugs.
Yeah. Feel them bitches up. And if they feel warm,
up your plugs.
Yeah, if they feel warm, do something about it. You spread out the load. Even if you have to, get an extension cord to run some lighter devices just to take the load off that circuit. You don't want to be running like heavy stuff through extension cords for long periods of time. It's really not the safest either. So like just keep all that in mind, please don't burn your fucking house down.
I love it. God knows I was pushing wattage and amperage. That's what we have to worry about, really.
Yep.
Amperage coming into my attic. And the old back of the hand test it was the breaker in the basement is what like really worried me and spurred me into action. So
that shit should never be warm either. However, if your plugs are warm, then your breaker will be warm as well. Okay. So Most people's
Cool.
breaker boxes aren't labeled well enough. They don't even know which breaker it is unless it's tripped so many times.
I had no fucking clue. I had to
Yeah.
turn everyone off and like, which one did that do?
Yep, and
That
then
was the
label all of them.
refrigerator.
Yeah. But that did the fridge and like the microwave and the dishwasher, but then like the one outlet in the front bedroom too. Like, what the fuck? Old house. G3. What are the moons like this week? What can people who are planting or harvesting expect from planets?
All right, so we're kind of between moons right now. We had a full moon on the 1st. That's the sturgeon moon. We actually have another full moon coming at the end of the month. A new moon next Wednesday, but like we're kind of between moons. However, if you're into manifestation, this is even a little woo-woo for me, I have to admit. But today is an important day in astrology. Today is the apex of the Lionsgate portal being opened. So the Lionsgate portal occurs when between, I believe it's, I want to say July 24th and August 12th. I could be wrong on the 24th though. So Sirius, the dog star, brightest star in the sky, and the sun, which is in Leo at the time, are synchronous as they move across the sky. This is super important to the Egyptians. They followed the Sirius, they followed the rising and the falling. It was super important regarding their New Year's. So this has Sirius, the sun, which is in Leo, hence why it's the Lion's Gate, lined up with the middle of Orion's belt, which is lined up with the pyramids in Giza. So this is a huge, huge, like super highway of manifestation. If you're into manifestation, like do it tonight. Even if you're not into manifestation, like sit down for a couple of minutes, think about what you want from your life. Think about how you're going to get there. This is like a really good night for that.
Cool.
So that's exciting stuff. Blue moon at the end of the month. That one's going to be fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to talk briefly about energetic space, but that can wait for another show. That's going to take more time. But yeah, Lionsgate portal. Try out some manifestation tonight. It'll do you some good.
I love it. I love it. Like, so,
Absolutely.
wow. That was, dude, that was awesome. For real. For real. So like when we talk manifestation, is that just kind of like meditating? Like we're like meditating we're willing things into existence.
Kind of.
Is that the approach we take?
Manifestation is basically like convincing the universe that the future, the path that you want is the only real option. So you envision it, you make a plan to get there, you see yourself in that space, you manifest that future. And by focusing on that, you naturally will take small steps in that direction. So it creates active participation in your part, as well as just like sitting around and thinking, wow, wouldn't it be great if this amazing thing happened to me? Then you start actually doing things to make it happen.
Man, you got such a way with words. Really. that's I love it. This is super cool. Well, thank you for that. I'm sure
welcome.
people out there will appreciate it as well. And thanks, Monster, for always making sure people don't burn their fucking shit down. And thanks, listeners, too. We want to thank, we got a new Patreon. I just want to call him Todd. And say, Todd's cool.
Thanks, Todd.
Todd's really cool. Yeah, thank you, Todd. And yeah, just go check out our Patreon, guys. You guys are what keeps the lights on around here. It keeps all the bills paid, keeps the show going. So thank you very much for that. And as far as that goes, we'll just get together next week. There's so much more we want to talk about, but so little time. G3, what'd you say? Energy?
What?
Energy what?
What?
What are we saving for next week? The energy?
I'm having an energetically clean space.
Ah, cool. A little cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Tune in next time. Tune in next week. And until then, don't get caught.